I'm sure even he will see that as a valuable opportunity. This could be the exact sort of thing that he've been looking for. And she kind of snarls at him and says, you filthy scum of the earth, you don't give one iota about what we're trying to do here." And he says, "On the contrary, I care quite a bit. It makes me rich, and it makes other interested parties rich as well, despite some little problems that happened in the past." And she snarls and says, "That was your fault. You're the one who sold them. We're trying to sell slaves out." And it kind of goes back and forth like that. What do you do?
It seems we've wandered onto quite the family feud.
It looks like at any moment a fight could start.
Um,
Literally everybody has their weapons.
and out
Man,
of
that wouldn't be a
interest,
bad thing.
this is the village that Giho was from, the village that they demolished, or that Jan the Ugly did, anyway.
This is actually something different.
Oh, okay. Just trying to get our regions right. Okay.
Right. It looks like this is further away from the river, not up the river.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first things first, Jan the Ugly wants to attack our village.
I suppose our sides are clear, but I would like to hear what was her name here? Do I have it written down? I need to actually write it down at some point. Oh, Shumei.
Shumei, yes.
There we go. I did have it written down. I'm interested in what Shumei thinks she's doing out here. We don't actually know what her plan is, do we? She's not shouting it. Well, she's shouting a lot of things.
It seems she doesn't want the gang to be involved in slavery, and she doesn't want to attack our village. So she's definitely the lesser of two evils.
Agreed. And I suppose if there's an inroad to be made, perhaps it's with her. Maybe we could try to arrange to speak to her alone. But she seems rather busy right now.
So what do? You just watch the exchange play out?
I think right now the time is it's time just to observe.
Okay.
See if it ends in violence, and then if it gets violent, maybe we can step in to help her side.
She basically says, hold on, sorry, one sec.
Okay. Dooloo, dooloo, dooloo,
dooloo. I got some apples. Dooloo. Yes, that'll work. Okay. So let's switch to the map. Thank you, Bane.
Fix your own statuses. I grabbed you guys from a different map. So you'll have old statuses you might not have anymore.
Sadly, mine are correct.
Well, yeah, you only had 2.
Tamara has 2 people with her.
Don't you have 2?
Yeah. There we go, 2 people. Perfect.
Which one was injured and which one was hurt?
Hold on, I think I can grab that from the start map and drag it over to there.
Injured is red, the red dot.
There we go.
Okay. So, and they're kind of arguing in the center of town here. But she says, like, she points to the snow leopards that are with Ugly Jan and says, "Look at you! This isn't what we were fighting for. Do you really want to side with this sleazeball who'll just get you all killed?" And he says, "I think they understand the fact that they've been out in the mountains for season after season after season, eating next to nothing and not having anything to do or any meaningful objectives. I mean, what have they done except for increase their wealth tenfold since I arrived? she says, "You're going to get us all killed with your mad schemes." And he says, "Well, maybe we should speak to Songwei tonight. I'm sure he can come up with some other reason to cut you out of the deal." And she says, "I'll slit your throat first, you filthy tortoise vermin of the state." And he kind of laughs and says, "Oh, what a fitting thing to call me." And he kind of like his people start to ready, but he holds up his hand and says, "No, we're going to talk to Song Wei. I'm sure he'll be delighted to hear about this latest development, and not even you can stop him from can stop us from getting to Yuchin, taking that egg, enslaving the population, and making out like bandits in the process." And he kind of chuckles and says, "I'm sure, by the way, Lieutenant Gray will back me in this too. So your days are numbered, sweetheart." And he turns and walks away. And she kind of looks amongst the group that's with her. And let me roll something here. Oh man.
Oh, dear.
As a matter of fact, while they're walking away, 4 more of her followers, it seem to run by, to follow them. And so she's left with like 6 people. It's like, stop, enough. And they all kind of look at her and said, "No, we're behind you. You've led us through thick and thin. They just don't know what they're doing." So she kind of looks, once they're kind of out of sight. She says, "Okay, well, we're left with a single squad. I don't know what else to say. I've been saying it the entire time. Most of Mad Peng's followers went with them. There's nothing to be done. This island is going to get bloody. We should probably find a contingency plan."
I think it might be time to go and introduce ourselves.
I think I'm in
Um,
agreement.
Let's not show our full hand right away.
Right.
me
The guards
approach her
will
alone.
stay back for now where they've hidden, and Tamara will begin to approach.
I will follow since I am A, not very stealthy, B, I am pretty good at persuading people. Although I would love to see the people we are supposed to be convincing, if there are any tokens.
I don't have them with me.
Right, I'm just
Okay.
gonna assume like they're like maybe over here where this tree is or something then, and just like
Yeah.
walk over there.
Yes. So they initially go, "Get out of the gun!" Like they just seem really startled and start yelling.
I'm also like intentionally like no weapon, like the kind of submissive, peaceful, like hands up sort of.
Well, Shumai recognizes Tamra and says, like signals, stop, don't kill them. She eyes you up and down and says, "Tamra Jin of Yuchin, am I right?"
That is correct. I don't think we've been introduced yet. And you would be Shu Mei, are you not?
Yes. Well, I'm not even sure where my loyalties are at this point. What do you want? And out of all the places in the world, I didn't expect to find you here.
Well, I think
Do
we
I-
came seeking with you. You definitely held your ground as best as you could there.
Do I smell the stink of that coward Fang Jin? And he kind of like pokes his head up and says, "Hi." She spits on the ground. Puh. It's sad. One of you lot had more guts than that in his single pinky than that waste of space has in his whole body.
Well, he agreed to lead us here, so he must have some inspiration.
He's chosen to be good and hardworking, and I can't say more than enough my appreciation for what he's been willing to do to change.
She kind of stares at him and says, what is it that you want? This is literally the worst day of all time.
Perhaps then that's why I'm here to ask. What is it that you want? I heard you going on about it, but I didn't hear you say what it was. What is it that you want?
She kind of folds her arm and folds her arms and pace around and says, well, I've been fighting so long it's hard to even remember, but I think part of the issue we took is this used to be an independent land away from the rule of your emperors down south, and we used to do just fine until your xenophobic emperor decided that he wanted to build a buffer between himself and the Calabrians. And that's where we got taken over and colonized, and our entire life and culture are destroyed. This was my grandfather's village, for heaven's sake. There were some of us who resisted and fought to continue that resistance for generations, but it seems as though there's very few patriots these days and more people interested in money.
Tamara will approach and kind of like take a seat on like the stone bench she seems to have found over here. And she'll sort of nod slowly and consider. The Empire is definitely not something that I think a group so small could fight. I am sorry about your situation.
You know what the trick of it is? You kill one and they send 10 more. You kill those 10 and they send 10 more. You do that 100 times and eventually they'll stop sending people. That's what I kept trying to tell Song Wei, but he's too stupid to realize what he's doing.
There's truth to it. And I see it in our own attempts when we've attempted to, forestall whatever plans the Firestrike gang had in store. It's been a constant worry, and perhaps it is time to stop fighting and find some sort of common ground.
Well,
Perhaps.
she shakes her head and says, I doubt that's going to be possible. Ugly Yang Yan is he's cagey. He's from Rolziyang. I know he is. He's connected to the slavers guilds there. And I know it's not going to stop. It's just profit. And since nobody in the city seems to care about out here, it's worked so far. I mean, at least initially we were successful in acquiring equipment and even recruiting, but now it's all about the money. It's all about the slaves.
Profitable endeavor, and it's a shame the city allows it to go on so long.
There's a seed
there's
of
no-
corruption in that city, and I don't see this ending well for you. You should really abandon your little village there and leave. You're gonna have what, close to a score of armored mercenaries, along with 50 or so. Well, no, maybe more like 40. She kind of looks amongst herself. Yeah, probably 40 or so coming. There are 6 that are supposed to be with
Hammer
her.
will
So yeah.
sigh a little bit and shake her head. No, I simply cannot. If I have to stand and die for you, Chin, then I will. And I feel that perhaps in your heart you might have done the same for your land.
She kind of nods her head and says, "I think we seem to be of a similar mindset."
It's true. It's a shame it's taken us so long to be able to see each other, to truly speak face to face.
There was a
I'm
wizard
gonna,
of yours once. He was a good man.
Indeed. It's a shame that
Just-
Yon the Ugly struck him down as well.
No, he's not dead. But
He's
he's
not?
not on Zhonghua though, no. I thought it
Oh.
best that he returned to Calabria, and I haven't seen him since.
Well, I suppose I should take some heart hearing that he's alive at the very least.
Yes. Albeit barely at the time.
Perhaps we can help each other.
Oh,
It seems like what you lack right now are allies. And the reason is because you don't have what Jan has been able to give them, money. Well, maybe we can help with that.
why would you... You seem to misunderstand me. If it were up to me, you would be driven from the island. Why would you want to give me money?
The lesser of two evils, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and you don't want to directly attack our city because you know it's stupid. And
Well, perhaps not even
It's-
money. I cannot guarantee Tol or even make any such arrangement to Songwei if he wishes his kingdom back. But I could at least promise, perhaps to live in harmony, to give you the ability to farm the land again and live rather than be bandits as you are.
Well,
To regain some of your nobility.
Song Wei is... Well, he was the fourth son of some minor noble or something like that. And she kind of coughs and rubs her stomach.
Not quite all that he seems, then.
Well, there could be another heir.
she's pregnant.
Oh. Hmm.
But yes, I think the agreement would have to be we help each other in the understanding that we don't step on each other's toes once we can get rid of Jan the Ugly.
It sounds though that Yon the Ugly is on the move right now, isn't he?
Yes, he saw that egg, wherever it is that you got it from, and that's too much of a temptation. They want it, and they're not going to
Well-
stop until they get it.
We at least have the knowledge of an incoming attack to fortify. But what would really benefit is just less Fire Strike members following him.
Well, I've done all I can. I mean, if this army, if you could call it that, a century ago was almost 2,000, and now it's dwindled to this state. I suppose attrition has never been on our side, but I simply want to get my countrymen not killed.
Tamara will very gently take her hand into hers and clasp another one on top and just go, perhaps together we could make one more appeal to your people, to appeal to their goodness and common humanity, to their nobility of your reign.
She kind of blushes and says, "Well, as long as Songwei's alive, that's not going to happen. I mean, I hate saying
At
it,
the very
but
least, you could you could convince them to leave to leave. I'm trying to think of the proper word for being under command of. There we go. Leave from under the command of that terrible Yon the Ugly.
well,
And that would be a first step.
that's true. But with Mad Peng, when he got killed, it changed the balance of power. So I've just been fighting a losing battle ever since, and most of the influence I have is gone. But as long as Songwei is alive, I can't really truly command them. They don't see me as legitimate at all. I mean, if my child survives childbirth, then that child would have the lineage required to have legitimacy, but well, I couldn't possibly bear to, and nor would I want to kill Song Wei.
Maybe a simpler agreement could be made then.
How do you mean?
Well, you definitely need some supplies, a warm place to stay for a bit, some food, some comforts to have for the duration of your pregnancy. Not to mention that here people are definitely sick and tired of living just camping out in the land. So maybe we could strike maybe you could set up a more permanent camp somewhere near the village than where we could, shall we say, agree not to inconvenience one another, and maybe we can find some ways to help one another. Not to mention that it would definitely help reduce the number of people coming in for the egg.
Well, as far as options go, I know that Song Wei will lead what's left of those willing to fight for the egg. I mean, if heaven forbid, but I see no other option at this point. If he were to die, I would have, I guess, more say than anyone. They would listen to me at that point. We could call off this stupid struggle if that's what the case is. But I don't see this ending well. We can certainly lay low until it's over. We can flee the land and return one day, but
Then I beg you, please, help us today, and perhaps tomorrow the land can be ours together.
she's kind of
Yeah.
takes a. I'm so tired of fighting. Okay, I don't know what else to do. There's no other options. What do you want me to do?
Here, I'm going to produce the little wooden box of illicit substances I've been carrying around for like weeks.
Forever. Yeah.
And
Why
I'm
have you been hiding it in your tail?
and I'm going to offer it to Shumei.
He looks at it and says, "Are you kidding me? Are these the drugs or the substances that Mad Peng was supposed to pick up that day months ago?
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me?"
I thought you got rid of that.
It's harder than it looks, which is why I'm giving it back to her, because I'm sure she has a buyer for it.
She actually starts to tear up.
It's been a stressful day for all of us.
If ever there was a sign from the kingdom of heaven that what I was doing was right, I can't think of a better sign than that. Well, I guess we could certainly sell this for money, or I don't know, bring it to Songwi, but what would you want me to do with this?
Well, I guess those are the two plans.
Well, I could make up some nonsense about receiving it in a vision or something. That might work. Maybe some will be swayed by that. I mean, there's no way they could claim that I took it. I was on the other side of the island when that happened. And that was confirmed by Song Wei himself because, well, you know.
Tamara will just give a little polite nod. It's like, well, you don't have to say anymore. So she doesn't have to embarrass herself or anything.
One question.
Yes.
If Song Wei were still alive but somehow otherwise incapacitated, who would be in charge?
Well, technically I would, since I would have the legitimacy.
What if
Although-
we could, because I know you don't want him to die. What if we could incapacitate him for long enough for you to call off this attack?
Well, it could certainly work. Or try to work. It could at least sow confusion and, well, I'm
Slow
thinking
things down.
dramatically, I guess. If he was marching on the town and somehow fell ill or incapacitated, it would go on hold, and I'm sure Jan would insist to go, and others would say to stop, and it would certainly divide the
Do you think you could pull
loyalty.
off such a thing?
Well, how would you
Well, not
incapacitate?
you. The person who suggested it, Cheng, I think.
Is Sung Wei a user of Black Lotus?
Well, everybody enjoys it from time to time, I think, and it's one of the simpler pleasures that I'm sure. Well, yes, he and Mad Peng did indulge. Well, Mad Peng much more so.
Perhaps we could get our village's alchemist to add an extra little kick that would knock him on his ass.
I'm not sure there's enough time for that.
Well, they have to go back to the mountains. They have to rally or check equipment, get everything set, get all the provisions in order, and then march down. And that takes about, well, there's no use concealing it. The fortress is in the mountains. It takes probably 4 days to get down here. So you've got some time. Probably a week before they're fully mobilized.
1 week.
Yeah, a week.
Tamara just like holds her head in two hands at the thought of that. 1 week.
But it might be enough to try some things.
I mean, heck, I could. Well, she kind of thinks for a moment. I could take this box of herbs, or not herbs, but drugs or narcotics or what have you, claim that it was given to me in a vision or a dream or something, and pledge our support to Song Wei and Ugly Yan and the rest of it, and then we would all be united. I'm sure Ugly Yan would be suspicious of it, but Song Wei certainly wouldn't.
Do you
Waste
think that
that-
would stop him from heading out on the attack? If
Well-
Song had it?
It would certainly encourage him to attack.
Oh.
But
But
if he took the herbs there, or if he was poisoned on the way there, or perhaps perfectly timed just outside the village, that would probably be the best place to have it hit, so to speak. If they happen to knock him out while he's in preparations, they'll certainly just wait until he gets better, and then in which case they'll just wait until they're ready to return. I think you stand more of a fighting chance if their forces are divided.
I agree.
Yes. I think this might work.
I have a sinking feeling that we are slowly losing our actual chance to do anything with minimal bloodshed.
One way or another, Yon the Ugly will come to town, and he brings bloodshed with him. We cannot stop
But
that.
perhaps
I
we
mean-
can limit
he just
the fatality
went
to the mercenaries who, well, to be honest, neither of us care about.
Well, the mercenaries are headed up by, I'm positive that Lieutenant Gray is in charge. He's paid, I'm positive that Jan is behind it all, but he supports, or his equipment rather, is purchased and supplied to him by a weapons dealer in Rolxiang.
Fu Mei, is it not?
Yes.
Well, they would be the ones to stay loyal to Jan the Ugly until the end.
Well, if you got rid of Lieutenant Gray, I'm not so sure. To them, it's just a job. But they're certainly not, they're not there to get killed.
Do you have any way to get close to Lieutenant Gray?
He and I don't see eye to eye, but, yes.
Perhaps we could mix up something more permanent for him.
Yes, Jan the Ugly was here maybe about 15 minutes before you, I guess you intervened, so...
Yeah, we could have intervened sooner and just started a battle, but,
We didn't have the numbers.
yeah.
But
I
if you...
still have a feeling that catching up with them and basically taking our chances with just 10 people is going to be more effective than trying to take our chances with everybody prepared for a fight.
It took everybody about 4 hours or so to get to where we are right now.
Yeah, this is the meeting place near the...
Right, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like a day away or something.
No, it's close by, but far enough where it would take some time to get
Oh,
to.
so Jan the Ugliest people could be already attacking Gonshin. You
They're
chin.
not gonna-
They're retreating to the mountain right now.
They're not going to attack piecemeal like that. They're going to get everybody to go.
Are they going to camp for tonight, or are they leaving immediately?
If I know Jan, he's going to move as quickly as he possibly can.
But he's a tortoise, so that's not that quickly.
That's true.
That's racist.
Check your privilege.
Gosh. But more importantly, he should come back along the same path, shouldn't he? Even to this spot.
Well, they'll probably march down directly off following the river. It's the path of least resistance.
And I think we know where to meet him as well.
Yeah. No, if I know Jan, he'll tell Song Wei. Song Wei will meet out in the and demand your surrender, the surrender of the egg, and he won't kill you as he enslaves you. It
And
looks
perhaps that would be the chance for a rebuttal to convince your men to abandon him.
well. I'm not sure if he falls ill partway through and shows up just I don't know a couple hours before reaching there and falls sufficiently ill, then it might cause some confusion. Jan would certainly want to continue and take any and all he could muster to follow him. And at that point, I could say, no, we have to wait for Song Wei. He is the one who's technically leading everything here.
I'm just trying to envision the schedule right now. They get here, Yang gets poisoned, they have to wait on Songwei. Songwei isn't coming with more people, is he?
Well, the
Or
full
would he?
amount would be 40 of this army, I guess, left of the Fire Strike gang, and then an additional 17 of the mercenaries.
I think that we are trying to a far too convoluted plan to risk it. The force is a little too big to chance on such a small and remote
She kind of swallows and says, "Well, you could always poison him." And she curses herself for even saying it so that he doesn't wake up.
And if that happens, you'd be in charge until your child comes of age, correct?
That's correct. And I'm sure Jan would fly into a hysteric rage. He'd probably try to kill me right then and there.
I don't doubt it, because he would know that under your leadership, his time in the gang would not be long.
That's
Wow.
right.
What a choice we have here under the heavens. To poison a former leader and perform a coup, or to fight a possible last stand and all die. What a choice. Oh, we were
Shumei,
blessed, truly.
these are your people. Would you rather lose the father of your child, or the risk much bloodshed within your gang?
She starts to weep and places her hands, her face in her hands, and says, "I know which path is the best one to choose, but I fear I cannot do it. He's the father of my child and this little one's father. What kind of monster would I be to do such a thing?"
I suppose there is a third option, but it
What
would
is
require immediate action. Kill Jan the Ugly before he returns to the mountain.
And my opinion is that it's the safest of the three options. Minimal bloodshed, to be honest.
We
What are, just to refresh, what are Jan's numbers at the moment?
Presently, he left with 14 of the gang and 8 mercenaries.
it's a lot.
14, 8, I need to do math in my head. 22, and we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool, we're literally half that.
And they have
Would
guns.
And they have guns, and they're very good at using them.
I'm sorry. I'm
She
so
may-
sorry.
would-
My conscience is. She just starts to sob now. What have I done? What have I gotten you kind people into?
Shumei, would you be able to find where Jan and his forces set up camp for the night when
They won't stop. They're not
They-
going to stop.
they're gonna? Okay, so that is an issue. So we would have to go straight to them to try and catch up.
At this point, Tamara will go ahead and stand up. I cannot, and I dare not ask you to take this easy path for us. I will take the hard road if I must. We will attempt to create a sleeping poison, or see what our alchemist can whip up, and deliver it to you before Jan gets here. And from there, we shall see how the engagement will have to go.
She nods somberly and says, "Is there a priest or somebody of the cloth whom I might confess my sins to?"
We have
And
one of the
yours.
Calabrians with us, if that's your taste, but I think we only have our wise woman.
I think I should come clean to the Almighty and the mandate of heaven and recite my misdeeds. I don't want them to punish my son as well, or
You're
my
welcome
daughter.
to come to our village and do so.
She will tearfully oblige. The 6 that are still left with her, are fanatically loyal, so
Yeah.
they'll
Tamara will
follow.
go ahead and wrap her arms around her and just give her a bit of a comforting hug. Please keep you and your child safe. I hope that by the end of this, we will see each other again.
Me too.
Alright, Lu Wei, Sheng, Ning, I think we have our business. We have to prepare.
Oh,
We
boy.
have to.
So we are going to prepare for a siege. Nice.
It's what I've been
The-
dreading
the-
the most.
The problem is if we attack Jan the Ugly now and fail, then the siege still happens. Except we'll be dead.
Then Yazi wins.
But they would probably enslave Yazi, but
No, Yazi would buy them out. Why fight when you can just make money? I'm
But,
already enslaving the people.
Shumai will follow your group back, and her people are not willing to disarm themselves, but they don't start any problems if you're confronted by the gate or the watch, who are like, "Oh my God, what is that? What's going on?"
Right, Tamara will try to soothe her guard and explain the situation. Like she is here as a friend for now.
I feel like I should just be the bad cop to Tamara's good cop and try to scare them straight.
Giants!
Don't
You fail and they just go, "Why is the dancer trying to be scary?"
When we do get back to time,
don't
I do want to
do
talk to
anything stupid while in this town. And I have 3 successes.
3 successes. She kind of makes like a like, yeah, okay, yeah, you're intimidating me, but she also shows that she has a steel bow. She says, "Don't worry, I can shoot you in the dark."
I don't mean the Shumei, I mean her followers.
Oh, in that case, then be like, "Okay, yeah, no, you leave us alone, we'll leave you alone." But yes, you can tell that you've certainly rattled them.
Okay. Imagine we get back to the village unmolested.
No, nobody bothers you.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna go with Tamara to see Yazi and his alchemist.
Ryu the Alchemist. You know, Ryu's
So-
lab is still under construction.
I know.
That's
which
the real
is
problem. We're 1 day
So
away
he'll
from
have
being
to-
able to produce guns, but we're 2 days away from being able to produce, I don't know, I'm loath to say potions, but you know what I'm saying.
Powders, yeah.
I mean, 2 days might be, and we might be able to get by with 2 days. There's actually an additional thing I would like to see if the alchemist can do. A plan B that I was not wanting to share with.
It is good news, though, that you bring me, that Ugly Yan and all them are heading back to their base to gather up, because I'm also 2 days away from my boat arriving in the city, so that means that they're probably not getting molested right now, too.
Ah, good.
They're good to go.
So, from the alchemist, we want an incapacitating poison that will
Well, here's
take someone
the...
out of for at least a few days.
So here's the thing, my alchemist can make medicine, so I assume he can probably make the inverse of medicine.
Yes, you could certainly do that. He would have the knowledge of that.
I'm pretty sure at least if you want to make fatal poison, it's actually easier than making medicine because a lot of
Right.
plants will just kill you.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'm just saying that if he has the knowledge of things that heal, then obviously
Yeah,
he
I
must
think-
know what not to put into the things that heal.
Well, yeah, which are toxic. So
Now, the additional thing I made, I don't know if it would be more help from your alchemist or whoever you have doing guns, but would you have the capacity within your crewmen to make a bomb?
Yeah. Well, because I can make explosive concoctions already.
Right. My
Yeah,
suggestion on the book would be for fireworks because they're throwing objects and do radius damage and they're great.
Well, I was thinking Aquaforte, actually.
Good choices
Yeah.
too.
Because I think Plan B, we know one of the things Jan the Ugly is here for. He wants the egg. I say we give him one.
Nothing. Complete silence to that.
It's a cool idea. Y'all react.
yeah.
It's a cool idea, but who will light it?
Yeah, everyone's... What do you mean?
Well, hopefully by then we'll have guns and perhaps we can rig it to be set off with a gunshot.
I have... Again, I have a schedule. As I've described before, I've been doing paperwork this entire time that you guys have been gone. And I have the materials that if 2 days is in the schedule, I will
Yes.
have 24 guns ready, but those are already assigned to specific holders.
That's okay. We can use one of the guardsmen to I don't think any of us are good at shooting.
Yeah.
To specify for people, the soldiers are good at melee and shooting, and the militia are good at melee and throwing.
Yep. So they could throw bombs.
Indeed, they could.
The guns, the pistols specifically, are all assigned to my guardsmen.
Because Jan the Ugly knows about the egg, but only secondhand as far as we know. So we make something that's like the same size and general appearance. Fill it with rifle balls and explosives.
Here is my
Nails.
only concern with that assessment, is that the egg has a... Well, I mean, if you're talking to me, then you're within eyeshot of the egg. That the egg has a very high quality look to it. And the more high quality look you want to have, the more the cost is going to go up, and the more the cost goes up, the more time it requires to make.
I can
I
see
mean,
Yasi looking at his
I think the
paperwork, it's
goal
just going to
is
explode money.
is to just fake it enough that Jan the Ugly can get
Paper
close.
mache egg.
Well, we
If
can use
it's
real
all-
metal. And,
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
but
though.
cheap
Working the
metal.
metal to a degree that it resembles the egg.
Aluminum foil
it
doesn't
only-
exist yet.
Yeah.
I know that will be the hardest part. I guess it's a matter of
It's
determining.
not a bad idea, to be honest.
No, again, my concerns are all one-sided, mechanical in nature, because the cost of producing an item is the amount of
Shumei
time that
seems
it
to
actually
think
makes.
it would take them at least a week to get mobilized, and then an additional 4 days to get here.
Well,
That's-
what
that's-
she means mobilized is like it'll take them they'll get back, they'll get together, and then yeah, in about a week or so they will be ready at the village to fight.
And we
Well,
do know
then we
where
have a
they're
week.
coming from. So the question is, where do we put our defenses? At the edge of the village? A little bit up the river? Where do we want to meet them?
You want to use trickery to try to fool them into a choke point? Do you?
I think I would, and specifically an egg-related choke point.
Yes,
Ah.
the pass, where their numbers will count for shit.
Exactly, and you know who's had deceit this whole time? The mayor. She's gonna try thinking up a plan along that line.
And I also have deceit, so I can help. I have lots of
Lion
deceit.
Bros, yeah.
What tactics apply?
Yes,
I guess I have
actually,
lots of
I'm going to
deceit.
say it will.
I have a D8 for deceit.
Well, as far as like,
I do also have a D8 in tactics.
So should we be rolling now to decide on a good place for an ambush?
Sure, if you want to, I can kind of go over the various locations that would work.
Okay, so let's see. I got Oh, I don't actually have tactics. I just have leadership. Never mind. But I do have deceit, so I can use that.
I mean, I have tactics. I'll add on this.
And you have an extra from.
And an 8 from me as well.
2
2
successes.
successes, so a D8 from me.
I have to know the area. My boats and
Okay.
wagons travel through here.
Okay, sure. So who's the
Yeah,
taskmaster?
who's the taskmaster?
I
That's
thought
a really good question.
I thought
I-
Tamara was.
I was thinking
I guess
Tamara.
I am. So I will roll how many extra D8 here? 1, 2, 3.
1, 2,
4.
3. Actually, literally any of us could be taskmaster because we all got exactly 2 successes. So just 3d8 on top of whatever.
Tamara has 5 total then, with the help of her friends.
Okay, so you all kind of like crowd around Tamara's kitchen table and like say, okay, well here's a good map, and Ling of course provides the map, but here's where they're going to come through. So on the map here for the they would show up there. It's probably the widest area that they would following the river to field that many people. So as far as good spots to defend.
Did we do...
Around that little ridge.
So I can't
It's a
hear
very
her
good
anymore.
spot. And sorry, I can't. I have to press to talk. But either of those two spots on that side of the river would be very easily like they would have to engage with you ranged wise, which is difficult. And a good natural choke point, of course, is the bridge.
I feel like now is the perfect time for Yazi to remind Tamara of the salvage rights we agreed on before.
No, you got those.
Yeah.
You have the stuff.
The other thing to notice too is this little rock. If the army is coming over to the bridge and they're trying to go through there, especially with the accompanying, it's the perfect ambush spot.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the plan. Focus on the sleeping poison first. Then build a bomb, and I think the bomb strategy should just be like get it functional and then spend all the time we have left getting it looking good, and
So
it'll
here's the
be what it is once
thing.
we
I have 32.8 boo already assigned to unused metal material that I guess I could apply towards eggshell.
it can literally be shiny iron, like shined iron.
Yeah, that's still metal material. And then I guess I could have Ryu on his day off.
Do you have any
Go out
money you
and
can contribute to this, Tamara? This is kind of
that's the thing, though. You don't want it to be too expensive because the more expensive it is, the longer it takes to make.
that's true. So, but it's a Trojan horse. It doesn't have to be actually good. It's
Well,
just
no, that's what I'm
Needs to
saying,
be good
though.
enough from a distance.
The more that you ask for people to contribute, the more money it goes into it, the longer it takes to make.
okay. So yeah, we're gonna go with
the cheaper it is, the faster it'll be made, is what I'm trying to indicate to you.
yeah. Okay, so we want it to be cheap then, just cheap and effective, and like the decoration can be tacky, but enough to like look good from a distance, but not actually.
Completely out of character. We know that there are some silver deposits in the area. Is there iron?
There isn't iron, but there's lead.
Okay,
I mean,
never
You
mind.
can have a lead core and just send Play-Doh.
So, if we're gonna do this, I would suggest an aqua core of either Fortis or Vitae, depending on if you want damage plus 0 penetrating or damage plus 1 on fire.
I think like penetrating would make more sense because this would be more of a shrapnel situation. And so.
Because I could.
So Samra is sort of like drawing out her own little notes and kind of points out like, okay, down all the way over here, we could have our first defense for as they come into the village, shoot out across to them, and then perhaps fall back if they try to push too hard on it. Then we have our bridge ambush here, where they could hide here until they're crossing the bridge and then fire across. Since Anna here said that that is a good spot to go ahead and attack from.
Are you thinking they're going to come from that side of the river?
Yep. They're coming from, yeah.
Maybe I should point out to you, I would suggest... Let me zoom back over to here.
Mm-hmm.
All that wood makes for good cover positions, and it's closer to the bridge, thus reducing the range drawback.
Well, you can use that spot by the river as a way to, fire on the bridge, or as they're trying to go through the town, if they really, going through towns is tricky because there's lots of cover for people trying to attack you. So
right. Well, I was indicating that if they're coming from that side of the river down this way, being on this side lets you fire across the way while not being chargeable by melee, whereas the bridge ambush on that side, they're going to be stuck over there behind enemy lines.
Right, those are just the ones that the 5 successes told us about. So,
and it's also easy too, where you could theoretically go along that little coast by the logs all the way to the mill, and then cross over to cut off their escape if they manage to break.
Theoretically, we could line the bridge with explosives.
We could do that too if
Do you know how long it took to make that bridge?
You could put the egg on the bridge.
You know what? We should probably not try and blow up the bridge.
And that's how I gained half of the town, and you gained half of the town.
This town's not big enough for the two of us.
So now there are 2 towns.
Yuchin 1 and Yuchin 2. Your side really feels like a Yuchin 2 to me.
Well, yeah, we're Yuchin A.
Yuchin 1 and Yuchin A.
I would suggest setting up some barricades as well to make their progress a little bit more inconvenient.
Right. My hope is that we can use the river to as our constant point of harassment until they're forced to cross it, which hopefully they should only be able to ford at the bridge. The egg can be placed up here so that when they approach, they will try to take it, and we have a nice clear shot for whatever mechanism Yazi decides upon.
Rattling cannon.
Fires.
Actually, you know what? With the making of the egg idea, you actually probably don't even have to spend your resources to make it look good. Because that's more of a deceit check than a craft check. If it's not actually valuable,
it's a wooden egg. How did they fall for that? Well, the problem is that if I make it out of one of the aqua, it's really going to cost me because those things are like 225 abu a pop, and it's like, I'm gonna eat.
What if it's just full of gunpowder?
I mean, what are you talking, like a grenade?
Like a really big one.
Set it off right in the middle of town. Well,
I mean, it's not ideal, but I think everyone's going to be ready for this, so they'll not be standing out in the open when that goes off. Hopefully, might do some damage to wooden buildings near.
Maybe we should move it up a little bit further towards them and make it look like we are trying to evacuate just the wrong way.